Yeah, they ignored every single red flag. Hey friends, welcome back to my corner of the internet where we talk all things thrillers, mysteries, and suspense. And today we are talking about 4 thriller books that I think deserve way more hype than they get. So let's get into the video. Y'all already know I'm not getting straight into the video, but I just wanted to let you know what I am currently reading. I am reading The Soulmate by Sally Hepworth, and I'm literally 14 pages in. I'm just now on chapter 3, so far so good. I mean, there's not really much you can judge a book by the first 10 pages, so I'm excited to read it because y'all know I love Sally Hepworth. So yeah, now we can get into the video. The first book I want to talk about is The Surrogate Mother by Freida McFadden. And you guys, this book, this is a Lifetime movie. I know they probably made a movie like this, but this was such a crazy book. I was literally looking at the book like, if you don't just like do this, Abby, do this, Abby, do that. Like, I was so frustrated. I've never felt such anxiety before when reading a book. Like, I was just like, if this girl, like, I can't even explain it. I was just so upset and anxious reading this book. But I mean, anxiety is never good, but in a good way, because this book made me have all the feelings. I felt everything. I hated some of the characters. I felt all the feels in this book. So The Surrogate Mother is about Abby, and obviously you know where this is going. Abby is having issues with infertility, and her husband, I can't remember his name right now, but they've been having problems trying to get pregnant. Nothing has worked for them. So they end up going the adoption route. And literally, as soon as the baby is born, the mother changes her mind, and Abby is just distraught. She's like, I finally got my husband on board with the adoption route. I have that, and now everything is hitting the fan. So her assistant, Monica, Abby is this big marketing manager at her job, and Monica is Abby's assistant, and she realizes, like, you're going through a lot of things, let me help you. Let me carry the baby for you. And Abby obviously wasn't just on board right then and there. She's like, well, let me talk to my husband, blah, 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 blah. And eventually they come to terms. They're like, all right, the husband is hesitant. They both, when you have those red flags and the alarms going off in your head and you just ignore them. Yeah, they ignored every single red flag when it came to the situation. The transfer is successful and Monica becomes pregnant. Nobody at the job knows. It's just Abby and Monica that know, and I think Abby's best friend knows, and then obviously the husband. Y'all, this book is insane. Monica is now who she says she is, and this is not a spoiler because it's on the back of the book. Monica has some dark secrets. It's twisty. Oh my gosh. When you're reading this book, you're going to be going back and forth multiple times. Like, wait, well, maybe it's this way, or maybe this is happening, or maybe maybe she really isn't that bad. You will feel all the feels and the emotions in this book. I don't know why this book is not more recognized, like The Housemaid and all those other ones. But y'all, when I tell you, obviously with the Freida McFadden book, you're going to get all the twists and turns, and we get every single twist and turn in this book. I was so mad. I was so anxious. It was just such a good book, and the ending, good book. Just y'all go check it out. The Surrogate Mother by Freida McFadden, and it is a wild ride, and you definitely need to check it out. Okay, so the next book I want to talk about is No One Will Miss Her by Kat Rosenfield. Y'all, look at this cover. It is so beautiful. Now, is this the greatest piece of fiction? No. But we've read plenty of books that weren't great that are hyped up, y'all. So this one deserves a little more hype in my opinion. And this book is about Lizzie and Adrian. Lizzie is basically like white trash in this old, community with trailers and all of that stuff. And Adrian is a social media influencer who's married to a billionaire, and she has just like this great life. So we start off the story with Lizzie being murdered. And we are trying to figure out how Lizzie and Adrian's lives, intertwine, how they connect. Does Adrian have something to do with this murder? The story is basically about 2 women who come from opposite sides of the world, and one is coveting the other person's life. Does Lizzie want to have Adrian's life? Does Adrian want to have Lizzie's life? And who killed Lizzie? That's what we're trying to figure out. And I really like this one. It has a lot of Instagram, it has a lot of lingo that us millennials and maybe even Gen Zers will appreciate in here. It was a good time. It's not even 300 pages. I mean, I really enjoyed this one, so maybe you will. I read this like 3 years ago, so here's what the back says. My name is Lizzie Oulette, and if you're reading this, I'm already dead. The funny thing is, some people will say I had it coming. Maybe not in so many words, maybe not quite so out in the open, but give it time. Just wait. They can say what they like. I know the truth, and for once, I have no reason not to tell it anymore. That's it. That's how you give a synopsis, okay? I love it. Love it. So definitely go check it out. I think this has like 3.2 something stars on Goodreads, but sometimes you don't necessarily need to look into the reviews and just read it for yourself. It was a cute little book. Well, not this is a thriller, so it's not a cute little book, but it was a good time. So you should definitely check it out. Okay, so the next book I want to talk about is Greenwich Park by Catherine Faulkner. Is it Catherine? Yes, by Catherine Faulkner. And you guys, this one has 64,000 ratings on Goodreads, but I don't hear anyone talking about this book. I mean, 64,000 I feel like is a lot, but compared to like books like The Silent Patient that have 1 million ratings, I just feel like this is underrated. It's been a while. It's been a while since I read this, so I'm going to read the synopsis on this one. Helen's idyllic life, handsome architect husband, gorgeous Victorian house, and cherished baby on the way begins to change the day she attends her first prenatal class and meets Rachel, an unpredictable single mother-to-be. Rachel doesn't seem very maternal. She smokes, she drinks, and professes little interest in parenthood. Still, Helen is drawn to her. Maybe Rachel just needs a friend, and to be honest, Helen's a bit lonely herself. At least Rachel is fun to be with. She makes Helen laugh and distracts her from her fears. But her increasingly erratic behavior is unsettling, and Helen's not the only one who's noticed. Her friends and family begin to suspect that her strange new friend may be linked to their shared history in unexpected ways. When Rachel threatens to expose a past crime that could destroy all their lives, it becomes clear that there are more than a few secrets laying beneath the broad-leaved trees in warm lamplights of Greenwich Park. Y'all, this was such like not a rich people drama, because they weren't necessarily rich, but you know, drama with wealthier people. Rachel and Helen meet, but is it by coincidence? Or does Rachel know a lot more about Helen and her friends and family's past? So we're trying to figure out, what did Helen and her family do? Was it something bad? Like, did they murder someone? Like, what's the tea? What's the tea, girl? And so Rachel is coming in here. You know, she's pregnant. She's not acting like a pregnant woman, but she's trying to get close to Helen, and we're trying to figure out what's going on. And it was a good book. I definitely enjoyed it. I really like books based in England. Like, I don't know. I feel like those thriller authors in England, I don't know. They do it. They do it good. So I don't know. But I definitely thought it was a good book. Catherine Faulkner is the author of The Other Mothers, I think. I just started that one on audio, but I don't know. I'm in a funk right now. This is a side note. I'm in a funk right now, or a slump with audiobooks. I don't know how that can be, because I started The Familiar Stranger by A.R. Torrey, and I got like 70% in it, and I don't know. I had 2 hours left. It's a 7-hour book, and I had 2 hours left, and I DNF'd it. I DNF'd an audiobook, you guys. Like, what? I just felt like, where are we going? Nothing is happening. I'm like, if you can't entertain me with an audiobook, then something's wrong. And it wasn't even like the narrator was annoying, because you know there are some books that you start and you're like, absolutely not. I'm not going through this. But the narration wasn't bad. The book, if you can't catch me with the audiobook, then I'm definitely not reading the book. So, yeah, what was I saying? Oh, Catherine Faulkner, The Other Mothers. That's what I'm listening to right now, but I don't know. I just haven't really found an audiobook that I liked. What was the last audiobook I just listened to? I don't know. Oh, I'm currently listening to The Perfect Couple by Ruth Ware, and I have to do my Ruth Ware author ranking, because I love a good Ruth Ware book. But yeah, that's what I'm currently listening to right now. But I just went on a whole tangent, so yeah, check out Greenwich Park by Catherine Faulkner. And the last book I want to talk about is The Patient's Secret by Loreth Ann White. And if you remember, The Maid's Diary, one of my favorite books, is by Loreth Ann White. I think I read this one fairly quickly after I read The Maid's Diary. So I read The Maid's Diary, but I listened to The Patient's Secret on audio. Disclaimer. So, The Patient's Secret is about 3 women, and this is inspired by a true crime that happened in Canada, but this story is about 3 women. It is about Lily Bradley. She is a therapist in Story Cove. I think that's what the neighborhood is called, you know, just like this elite neighborhood, just, you know, like an affluent neighborhood. Then you have Arwen, who comes into Story Cove and kind of, you know, stirs some things up because she's free-spirited. She's not like by the book like everybody else there. And then the detective, Fru Duval, she is obviously the detective in the story because, you know, with a thriller, something's always going to happen. Somebody is found dead in Story Cove, and we are trying to figure out who it is of these women. The book starts off with the murder, somebody finding the body at the bottom of a cliff, and then just a whole bunch of stuff starts. Somehow Arwen is able to get into everybody's lives, and she's starting to know everyone's secrets, and she's starting to tell people secrets, and it's just like, girl, like, you just got here, slow down. And so Lily and Arwen really aren't like the best of friends because she really doesn't like her. She doesn't like her parenting style. She suspects that her husband is cheating on her with Arwen, and it's a lot going on. We're trying to figure out, why did Arwen come to Story Cove? Like, she really doesn't belong there. And we're trying to figure out, does Lily have any secrets that she's hiding from her family? Like, why is she just so mad that Arwen is here trying and, you know, sticking her nose in everybody's business? But somebody dies. It's one of my favorites, past and present, dual POV, dual timeline. I love it. I'm here for it all. And it was a good story. Now, am I the biggest fan of detective, like, POVs? No. I'm not a fan of having the detective there, but it does make sense that detective is in this story, because sometimes it doesn't make sense. Like, I'm like, well, why did we even have this? And Loretta and White, she had a detective point of view in The Maid's Diary, now that I think about it, and she has one in this one. So I don't know, she must love detective work. But yeah, it's a crazy story. It'll have you at the edge of your seat, and it'll have you mad at some characters as well, but it was definitely a good book, and I think it deserved more hype than it has. It has like 37,000 ratings on Goodreads, but I think it should have more. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Have you read any of the books that I talked about, and what are y'all reading right now? What are we reading? What are we reading this summer, y'all? I bought a book. I bought a book. Let me show you. This is not my genre. It is not a thriller book. I kept seeing it at Barnes and Nobles. I kept looking at it. It was at one of those tables with like the best of book talk or whatever. I bought it. I didn't buy it at Barnes and Nobles. I bought it at Target. So I ended up getting If He Had Been With Me by, who is this by? Laura Nolan. I think this is a young adult book, but I had just been seeing it everywhere. And I'm like, well, maybe this can be like a palate cleanser, you know, like a little teeny bopper romance book. But I think it's like one that's gonna have me like crying a little bit. But it's just, I love the feel of the book. It's so beautiful, and it's a different genre. Now, am I trying to jump into another genre? Absolutely not. But I think every once in a while to pick up a different book, I think would be great. And this book was only like $8. So if I don't like it, I can put it in a free little library. But I'm excited to read this. I've been kind of like eyeing it. I'm reading The Soulmate right now, but I'm like, do I want to read this book? Do I? I don't know. So let me get into The Soulmate a little more, and then I'll see if I finish that, and then we're going to get into this book next. But thank you so much for watching today's video. I know it was short and sweet. Sometimes we got to keep it that way. I'm trying to post every week and keep you guys here and build this community that we have. And I appreciate you guys as always for liking, commenting, and subscribing. And I will see you guys in the next video. See you.